This might be the most important piece of metal you've ever seen. Not because it's shiny or rare, but because it fed empires, won wars, and built cities. It changed how we eat, how we live, and even how we think about time. But here's the strange part. This little can, invented over 200 years ago, is the reason we have space food, global trade, and supermarket shelves. And yet, it all started with one man, one army, and one very hungry problem. Feeding an army has always been harder than fighting a war. In the early 1800s, Napoleon's forces were unstoppable, except when their food ran out. During the Napoleonic Wars, spoiled rations weren't just inconvenient, they were deadly. Disease and starvation killed more soldiers than bullets ever did. So Napoleon offered a challenge: 12,000 francs to anyone who can invent a way to keep food fresh for months without spoiling. A French confectioner named Nicolas Appert took that challenge. He wasn't a scientist, he made sweets and candy, but he noticed something strange. When food was cooked and sealed in a jar, it didn't rot. He had no idea why. This was decades before anyone knew a thing about microbes. But it worked. In 1809, Appert's invention won the prize and changed the future of food forever. Appert used glass jars. Great for jam, terrible for marching armies. So a Frenchman named Philippe de Gerard had a new idea. What if we used metal instead? He teamed up with a British merchant, Peter Durnard, who patented the process in 1810. A year later, two English engineers, Brian Donkin and John Hall, bought the patent and opened the world's first commercial canning factory in London. Their cans were made of tin-plated iron, heavy and handmade. Each one took hours to seal. And to open them, soldiers used bayonets or rocks. The can opener wouldn't exist for another 30 years. But even with all that, the invention spread fast, because it worked. By 1813, the Royal Navy was eating canned meat on the high seas. By the 1820s, canned goods were feeding Arctic explorers searching for the Northwest Passage. It was a miracle of preservation, but these weren't the same cans we know today. And what happens when the thing that's supposed to save you becomes the thing that kills you? In 1845, the British explorer Sir John Franklin set out to find the Northwest Passage. His ships carried more than 8,000 tins of food, beef, soup and vegetables. But when his crew vanished into the ice, later expeditions found something chilling. The cans were sealed with lead solder, and the food inside contaminated. For decades, historians believed lead poisoning from those cans contributed to the crew's deaths. Newer research suggests malnutrition played a bigger role, but either way, the can that was supposed to save them might have killed them. By the mid-1800s, canning was no longer a kitchen experiment, it was industry. Machines sped up production, and conflict like the Crimean War and American Civil War made canned food essential for survival. Canned beef, beans and soup were cheap, portable and long-lasting. Millions of soldiers learned to trust that metallic clink of a tin lid as the sound of dinner. And when they came home, they wanted that same convenience. So companies like Heinz, Nestle and Underwood industrialised canning for civilians. The can moved from the battlefield to the dinner table. There was still one problem. The cans were dirty. Soldered seams leaked lead, bacteria snuck in, and the process was slow. Then, in 1888, engineer Max Ams invented the sanitary can, sealed with a double seam instead of solder. That made cans faster to produce, safer to eat, and completely airtight. And it also made them cheap.
Then came a development that was to have far-reaching effect.
Say, you're right, Harry. This is different. Certainly is a new basic idea in can making. Let me see that. No hole in the top?
Nope. Canners get them with this end entirely open, so they can pack whole tomatoes or peaches or other fruits and vegetables in this can. Don't have to cut things up. Consumers will love that.
By 1904, the 3-piece can became standard. By 1935, we had canned beer. And by World War II, canned food had become so vital that American soldiers joked they were marching on tin. After the war, that same industrial power turned towards peace, mass production for consumers. The can became an icon of the modern kitchen, quick, clean and uniform. a symbol of abundance and control. All of this exists because someone figured out how to put beans in a can. The tin can didn't just preserve food, it made food portable. It meant you didn't have to live near where your food was grown. Suddenly, meals could survive oceans, winters, and entire supply chains. Food became a product, something that could be stored, shipped, and sold. But that convenience came with a trade-off. We stopped eating seasonally, locally, or even freshly. We entered the age of the shelf-stable diet, the ancestor of fast food and processed meals. And today, we open over 200 billion cans every year.
Hi, Debbie. Libby's wanted to show you how good their low-calorie fruits really are. Billy, can I have a can?
What?
Fine, honey, just help yourself. You see, when Libby's took the sugar out of the syrup, they found that peaches taste peachier, pears pearier, pineapple pineapplier, etc., etc. So good even sugar-loving kids dig them. Right, kids?
Yay!
200 years ago, Nicolas Appert wasn't trying to change the world. He was just trying to feed an army. But what he created didn't just stop food from rotting, it stopped progress from stalling. This simple container let cities grow bigger than the farms around them. It let explorers cross oceans, survive winters, and eventually let humans leave Earth. Every can on a shelf is a promise that what's inside will still be there when you need it. Not bad for a forgotten can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.